I note that the two moderators of that debate where Kamala Harris told those lies about Donald Trump and a whole bunch of others didn't fact check her once, while they fact checked Trump within an inch of his life. I mean, the bias was extraordinary. But talking about this bias, yeah, I see that MSNBC's default reaction today was to somehow blame Donald Trump and his own rhetoric for yet another person trying to kill him. Have a look at this.
Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence?
Honestly, Greg, it seems like the leftist media have got it in their heads that the only violent people in the world are right-wingers, and if violence happens, and even left-wingers did it, it's still the right's fault. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, so, Trump has done a lot of, in my view, reprehensible things and said a lot of foolish things and extreme things. But that doesn't give you a right in denouncing Trump to go even worse than he has gone. So people, the Democrats tell lie after lie after lie about Trump and present him, as they did at the National Convention, as the greatest threat to democracy in American history. They paint him as the author of American fascism, as an extremist, as a dictator, as the end of democracy. And then someone is violent towards Trump and they say that's all Trump's fault. So there's no responsibility on the Democrat side at all. And sadly, the media in America is failing America, not only by its double standards, but, for example, those ABC debate moderators, who I thought were absolutely reprehensible, a disgrace to the journalistic profession, an utter disgrace. They didn't mention the fact that this year the US budget deficit will be $2 trillion. Interest payments are already greater than the defence budget. You might think that would be an issue worth mentioning. Instead of which, they wanted to afford Harris every opportunity to condemn Trump's rhetoric, and they wanted to force Trump to admit that he'd said things he should apologise for.
And Greg, just one last thing about this assassination attempt. You're quite right. I mean, this guy, look at his social media posts, it's unhinged, but he's repeating all the attack lines on Trump. It's like the Democrats saying, what, you mean you took them seriously? Oh, heaven forbid. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've actually got this guy being a real supporter of Ukraine, as am I. But I just wonder how this is going to play to the Trump far-right base that thinks Ukraine is evil and here's this guy sent to kill, or I don't know how they would phrase it.
Yeah, it's extremely obnoxious. I mean, I've got a column about this in tomorrow's paper. Sadly, now there are deranged people on the left, deranged people on the right, and people who are just free-floating deranged, waiting to find a cause to fixate on. Now, all political leaders, I think, have a responsibility to speak in a decent manner. Trump often doesn't do that. That's true. But all of these Democrats who don't use Trump's vulgar language are nonetheless promoting their own version of extremism. One of the most brilliant insights I ever heard into democratic politics came from Kim Beazley, who once remarked, it takes a good deal of apathy to run a successful democracy. You want people to regard their religion as their religion and their politics as their politics. You want sport to be on the front page of the newspapers. And when everything becomes a fervid moral crusade, and for the left of American politics, left-wing causes are their new religion. But, I mean, the right is equally as bad. You will get a horrible, breakdown of basic apprehension of reality. People can't understand reality. I mean, this guy's derangement has nothing to do with Ukraine, but you're quite right. This will feed into, swamplands on the far right, on social media, and it'll become a plot by Ukraine amongst some people. This is really a tragic moment in American life.
It is so depressing. It is. Look, you've said it. Greg Sheridan, thank you so much indeed for your time.